this. So heavy spoilers for Trapped. I was about to say Trapped the musical. I don't know.
Trap. It's just Trap.
Can you imagine?
Oh, it's not Trapped with an ED. It's just Trap.
It's just Trap.
Just Trap. Like we set up a trap for him.
Or like it's a trap.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking like, oh, he's trapped with the. No, it's just Trapped.
I mean, he is, but
yeah.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I see dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie.
And Nikisha.
Where we share our love for all things scary and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Brian, you can't laugh at me at the top of this.
I tried to be silent. Yes.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, you saw Brian make a face at me. But welcome, everyone. Such fun and exciting times as always, but especially so because for two things, it's our series finale, guys. It's our season finale.
Season.
We're going to keep going. I promise.
Whoa.
Sorry. Didn't mean to alarm you. Jump scare alert. We're not leaving you, guys.
We really live and breathe the horror lifestyle. We're just trying to scare you as much as we can.
We will be back, but this is our season finale. Okay. And because it's our season finale, we have a special guest with us. Please welcome to the horror movie podcast, Desmond Sean Ellington.
Pew, pew, pew. What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me.
Write your own air horn sounds.
Pew, pew, pew. Listen, sometimes you got to toot your own horn.
That's a word.
Don't wait on nobody. Don't wait on nobody. Toot your own horn.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited to have you here with us. A little bit about Des, and then we'll come back and talk to him a little bit more. But Desmond and I were in a little show together called Hamilton.
Was that the safe word? The safe word?
The safe word.
The safe word.
We'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to it. So Desmond and I were in Hamilton together, and now Desmond is a part of the Tony Award-winning show Hell's Kitchen on Broadway right now, doing his thing, living it up. So if you're ever in New York, come and see Hell's Kitchen, come see him, support him in that. But he also is a lover of horror movies. And while we were on the road together, we would go to the movies often together to see the latest horror movie release.
Yes.
So we're excited to have him here to weigh in on the movie that we're talking about today, which is the 2024 psychological thriller Trapped. Oh my God, I'm trapped in a box. Help me, please.
Surprisingly, not what the movie's about.
And surprisingly, not what the movie is about. But this film was directed, written, and produced by, our favorite person, M. Night Shyamalan. Lots to discuss with him and his writing and all the things. But this stars one Josh Hartnett, who is still beautiful and fine as always. We love to see it.
He still got it, man.
He still got it.
I want to be like him when I grow up.
Okay.
You think M. Night was like, that scene's great. He's like, can we do it one more time, but I'll take my shirt off this time?
He had to take his shirt off. He had to show
the
like,
bod.
I still got it.
He still got it. I love it. But it's not just him in this movie. It also stars Ariel Donahue, Suleika Shyamalan, which the surname, it is M. Night's daughter in this, who is
his other daughter.
His other daughter, because one of his daughters is a director. This one is a singer. And so she also wrote some of the music for this movie as well.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that.
I can't wait to talk about it. I have so many things. And then Haley Mills and Allison Pill round out the cast for this. So heavy spoilers for Trapped. I was about to say Trapped the musical. I don't know.
Trap. It's just Trap.
Can you imagine?
Oh, it's not trapped with an ed. It's just trap.
It just trap.
Just trap. Like
Tell
we
me.
set up a trap for him.
Or like, it's a trap.
trap.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking like, oh, he's trapped with the. No, it's just trap.
I mean,
Okay,
he
cool.
is, but
Yeah.
Well, heavy spoilers for Trap. And Jamie, please hit us with those trigger warnings.
Sure. This is a film. Let's see. There's
I'm screaming.
I'm trying to think about what I want to say. There's references to mental health that take with what you will around OCD. There's references to cancer that I'm not even entirely sure are true. They don't really get into that, but they do reference that that Josh Hartnett's daughter recovered from
Jody,
leukemia. He is also a serial killer. And there's but I'm guessing again, this is PG-13, so we don't see any of the bodies like out and about. They're all covered in tarps and things, but there's like references to bodies and parts of bodies being strewn about. We get one picture of like them covered in cloth or something like that. So that is what we see. Were you double checking, Brian, if it was PG-13?
I didn't look, but then I thought about the oil burns that we see.
We do see, there is a disturbing like burning that happens with oil, like an explosion. We also see a woman get pushed down a flight of stairs who's intoxicated.
Yeah.
That was wild. Keeping people hostage, threats to murder, threats to commit suicide. I mean, there's also like a lot of police and SWAT activity in this film.
PG-13,
and like lots of guns. I always know. You can always tell when it's PG-13.
You can always tell.
It was very, very light. It was very light.
Very light.
Yeah.
And did I miss anything?
I don't think so, because there really wasn't a lot of stuff.
No, there. Yeah, I mean, people being trapped, like the CCTV camera, the abduction video.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, lots of people in one place. So this is
Big crowds.
But yeah, big crowds.
Big crowds if you don't like it. If you don't,
I don't know,
concerts.
This is going a little bit too far, but like domestic violence ish, or just just not knowing who your family is and being threatened by them, that type of thing. I don't know if that's going too far. Limos.
We'll take it. That's going too far.
Handcuffs.
Yeah. Abductions.
Yeah.
Abductions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
and questionably bad dialogue.
Oh yeah. Exposition.
A lot of questionable dialogue.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, I can't. I'll stop. I'll save it for the letterbox.
Please.
I
Save
can't
it.
wait to read the top 3 letterbox comments to you. I read them already. They're amazing.
wow.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, before we get into everything, I would like to hear from our guest, Desmond. Please share with us maybe what's your favorite scary movie?
Favorite?
Yeah. Or what made you
Wow.
get into scary movies?
Okay, I can definitely answer that question because I was the first I'm the oldest of 3. And so when it was just me, it was me and my mom, we used to always watch movies and stuff. And so my initial movie into the horror genre that just blew my mind was Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
That was my introduction. And like, why were you watching Freddy Krueger with your mom? Because that's what we did.
That's what you did. Yes, absolutely.
And that movie right there, and I've been hooked ever since. Like coming up, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but when I was coming up, it was Michael, it was Jason, it was Freddy, and it was Chucky.
Sure.
Yes.
That was it. And for me, I was like, Michael, he's not going to catch me. He's not going to catch me.
Absolutely.
Chucky, we didn't play with dolls. Not a thing. Jason, look at me. I'm not going camping.
There you go.
I'm not going camping. I don't do that.
Yes.
But Freddy comes and gets you in your sleep.
Exactly.
And those who know me know that sleep is number 2 on my list of the love after my mom is sleep. And you mean to tell me I can't go to sleep for fear of just kill me now? So that right there was my introduction, Freddy Krueger. So he's always like my top, like slasher, whatever you want to call him.
Sure.
I'm definitely Nightmare on Elm Street, Die Hard. I've seen all of them. Even the reimagining reboot that they did in recent times, all the things Freddy, that's who I am. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, Freddy is absolutely great, and I think
He's
it
the
is
best.
time for like another reboot of a reboot of a reboot. Like
he's
I'd
the
be
best.
into that.
Oh my God,
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
especially if they bring. I mean, is Heather still around? They can bring her back. Like we would love to see. Like
she said she
God.
wants a rematch. I mean, she wants a paycheck, but she wants a rematch as well.
We'll take a paycheck as well. Listen,
yeah.
I would go see it. So, but yeah,
definitely.
Freddy's my guy.
Yeah, do like a direct sequel to the first one, and like you just ignore like what happens to her in Dream Warriors
like
and stuff, and it's
whatever,
just
yeah.
like you treat her like a Jamie Lee Curtis in the 2018, where like she doesn't sleep, or like she's like so strung out because she doesn't sleep, like or something crazy like that. Like I'm into that.
Yeah.
Listen,
let's make it happen. Who do we need to call?
She owns like a Dunkin' Donuts franchise and just like, up on coffee.
I can't.
That's great.
Fantastic. Well, I do want to. Desmond is going to give us our 2-minute plot summary of Trap.
Right, yeah.
But I do want to share a couple of things that I have watched these past couple of weeks, just because they have been a very wild variety. I watched Baghead. Terrible.
Oh, wait,
Hated it.
Okay, we watched the new one.
Yes.
Like about the girl who inherits the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Have y'all seen it?
No.
Okay. I won't say anything if you plan to watch it, but I will say it was not my cup of tea. There was too much going on. The story didn't make sense, and I had a terrible time watching it.
Okay. That was on Shudder?
It's on Shudder, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A movie that is not considered a horror movie, but it absolutely should be a horror movie, Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh, you watched it? It's on Max now, right?
It's on Max now with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
And I will say that has been one of my favorite movies I've watched in 2024. Like a surprising, crazy, manic romance, like toxic romance. But also there's a lot of body horror in it, guys, that I was not expecting.
I'm putting it on the board.
Put it on the board. Yes. Love Lies Bleeding. It's on Max. Okay. Kristen Stewart is being Kristen Stewart. I mean, she will always be her, and I love it every time I watch her. She will always be Bella. And it's
say it.
She will
say it
out loud.
That is true.
Where have you been, Loca? Or whatever.
Oh my God, Bella, where the hell you been, Loca? Oh, those wigs, all of the wigs.
For those of you listening for the first time, this is a pro Twilight podcast.
It is.
And I will over and over again say that the first movie knows exactly what it is and leans into it hard. And amen to that. Anyway, back to our scheduled content.
Yes, no, but it's great if you haven't watched that. But just know that it's very gory. Like there's a lot of insides on the outside, but then there's also random body horror, and then there's also random magical realism that happens towards the end of it. So I was like, this was a surprise for me that I just was eating it up for days. So
well, that was earlier this year. That was on a list of like most interesting horror movies coming out this year. And I mean, to me, obviously horror is subjective, but you're confirming to me that like it fits somewhere on that spectrum.
It is absolutely hands down. It should be some in sub genre of horror for sure. Absolutely.
Cool.
And then the last movie I watched was Host, 2023. I loved it.
Wait, the Zoom one?
The Zoom, yes.
Yeah. That's like that's
God.
a top 10 horror movie for me.
I watched it for the first time. It's only an hour, not even.
Yeah.
And I watched it in the dark at night, and I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Ooh,
It got me.
It's so good. It's so fun.
Good.
And like they all like it's very practical, and all of them did a lot of the work. Like they learned to do a lot of that work because it was filmed I think like in the very early stages of the pandemic. So like they all were actually like, you know, sequestered and yeah, it's just fascinating. And then that director made the movie that I fucking hated after, and it was a real bummer.
What movie?
Dash Cam.
Ugh.
Oh, I didn't.
And then he did the Boogeyman movie that came out last year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he's a good
Also
director.
not
He's had some
great.
questionable other material, but damn, Host is like a perfect movie.
It was so good.
All right,
It's
I'm gonna watch
stellar.
all three of these.
Yeah, I was like anxious the entire time because I just love the concept. First off, of it's a Zoom seance. You know, that's the whole general gist
Premise
of it. But I just love that because of that, you can't add any random background music, so everything is just quiet. Until somebody is yelling or screaming because something is happening, and all you're
It's
hearing
so
is just
clever.
talking.
Like
It's so
all of the
clever.
kills are so clever, and the tension building in that movie is immaculate. Oh man, Desmond, definitely put that on.
Okay.
Put that at number one on your list.
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
watching
watch
it
that
tonight.
first.
I'm watching it
Yeah,
tonight.
It's only an
Yes.
hour.
You can watch
I'm
it
done.
in between shows. You can watch it
I'm
in
literally,
intermission.
literally watching after we get done with this because it's my day off. I'm watching all the things. So
Hell yeah.
I'm ordering a pizza and I'm watching Host.
Ooh,
Yes.
Period.
Nothing better.
I love
that. But yeah, I just wanted to share those things that I watched. So.
Wait, can I say something that we've been watching that
Yes.
is not really horror adjacent, but you posted something and then I was like, oh man, I haven't thought about this in a while. And I was talking to Brian and he had never watched it before. And I was like, we need to watch all of this right now. Nikisha posted something about Scandal, which I watched all of when it was like first airing. And then I was talking to Brian and I realized that Brian has never watched any Shonda Rhimes anything ever. And was like, oh my God, we're watching Scandal. I need to rewatch it right now, and you need to watch it for the first time immediately.
Not even Grey's Anatomy?
I have only seen the musical episode of Grey's Anatomy, and I watched it for a podcast.
Wow.
Nothing. I have never seen any. I mean, I've seen clips. Don't
I've
get me
never
wrong.
seen Grey's only because this is silly, but it always aired the same time that The Office did, and that was my TV show.
Amazing.
So that was
I'm
my
a surgeon because of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, so I'm a surgeon because of ER. I've watched the 15 seasons of
got
ER
you.
multiple times.
Yes,
But
yes.
and I felt like it would be cheating to like get into it. But I've seen clips like I've seen
It's always
most
on
of
TikTok.
Always on TikTok.
my
I've
God.
seen most of the Kyle Chandler bomb diffuser stuff from the early couple seasons. I've seen a lot of the Katherine Heigl, like her and the guy stuff. But clips. The only full episode I've ever seen
was the musical.
Episode. Because for Broadwasted, we watched like a handful of musical episodes from different shows. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a Grey's Anatomy anything in full. But Scandal is delicious.
Tell us about it.
Yes.
Great. Talk about it.
I didn't know it was a procedural. I just thought it was like a a conspiracy show and like every season's like a big bad and to be fair, that is kind of how it's set up. However, it is a procedural. Every week they have a client. Sometimes it's like it's cut in terms of like this senator needs to do this, but sometimes like the client is us, like and things like that. The performances.
We're in season 2.
We're in season. We're
like in the middle of season 2. We've really like been
Y'all are pushing through.
yeah.
Because I think that I would say half of the acting is stellar. The other half of the acting is like perfect for what this is.
Oh, it definitely has its own.
Yeah.
It has its own tone.
Yeah,
has its own
absolutely.
pace.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, I like it. It's like West Wing light, and it is, you know, they lean into what they are. I will say, as season 2 has gone on, it definitely has lost some of its grounded nature that season 1 kind of had, and it's a little bit more into the melodrama, which that is not a negative thing. That is just an observation in my opinion. But I think the chemistry between not just the two of them, Olivia and Fitz, but I think that the overall chemistry of the entire cast together is excellent, and I think they do an exceptional job. And this might be a Shonda Rhimes thing, I don't know, because I'm not familiar with her like breadth of work, but she does an exceptional job of making characters that you like complicated and putting them in scenarios where they've actually done some really shitty things, and yet you still like them and you understand their decision making. I think and I'm okay still to root for them, even though they ethically they're in the gray area. And I think that's like pretty incredible, the way that she can do all of that. You know, from just the way she, you know, procures her actors and her screen and her teleplay writer and all. It's just like, yeah.
She has great character development.
She does.
Yeah.
I'm excited for our Bridgerton watch in maternity leave. That's my number one that I want to. I haven't watched any of it. And I got 3 seasons. Because I knew like once the 3rd season was coming out, I was like, we're gonna save it. That's gonna be number 1, and I'm ready to be, I don't know, fancy. I don't know. I
Yes. Can I make a suggestion?
Fancy and romantic.
The watch in order of watch.
Yes. Oh, does this include Queen Charlotte as well? Okay. Yes. Someone told me about that one because it's like a one-off.
Right. So I think that it's you should do season 1, season 2, then Queen Charlotte, then season 3.
Okay, perfect. I'm in.
Yeah.
Done.
I would watch a Shonda Rhimes horror movie, by the way.
Ooh. That needs to happen. Somebody get Shondland on the phone. How do we make that happen?
How to Get Away with Murder definitely had some like really intense moments.
That's not too far outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, for sure.
To what she's already done.
Yeah. Still procedural. Way more like, you know, legal stuff, but definitely a lot of like tense, like scary moments, I would say, from what I remember. I don't think I finished that, but I didn't finish it either.
Then we'll never know.
That one went a little too off the rails towards the end for me, and I was like, I think I got the most that I needed from this.
Right. I was always because when it aired, it was Shonda Thursday. It was Grey's, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. I was so emotionally spent by the time How to Get Away with Murder. And you know, anything Viola does, you got to have all your strength.
Yes.
Because she's back.
God.
She's going
on to Thursdays. That like totally brought me back.
Throwback, right?
Yeah.
So after Grey's, like after she kills all the cast members, everybody that you love in one episode, then Scandal. I'm like, by the time Viola came talking about Sam, why is it Sam? I'm like, I don't have it. I don't have it right now. So I never finished How to Get Away with Murder.
That sounds wildly overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming. Yeah,
there's a lot.
Okay, well, and on that note, overwhelming, maybe not overwhelming, maybe underwhelming.
Oh my!
Let's get into Trapped. That's what you're here for, and we need a 2-minute
single trap,
summary.
One trap.
Just trap. One trap.
Like meet me in the trap. It's going down.
Yes.
Yeah, why didn't they do, you know how all the horror movies now, the theme song is like a slowed
Jordan
down
Peele
version?
Does. Yes. That would have been dope.
Oh my God.
That would have been dope. Yes.
That were the case.
If anybody needs to re-edit just to throw that in,
throw that in there.
We'll accept that
over the trailer.
That's funny.
That's
so good.
What's the plot?
Okay, well, Desmond, Jamie is going to time you. She will give you the go, and you will have 2 minutes to just give us to your best of your ability.
Been training for this moment. It's like the Olympics right now.
Literally.
Oh yeah, we've watched a lot of Olympics too.
Yes,
that's mostly what.
Shout out to Noah Lyles, just won gold in 100 meters. Yes.
Oh my God. I want to see what Yu-Gi-Oh cards he has with him at the Olympics, because I've been following a lot of that, and it just makes me so happy.
I love
this.
that.
Yeah, this Oscar. Okay, all right.
All right, so we have 2 minutes on the clock. I'll give you a 1 minute warning, and I'll give you a 10-second, last 10-second countdown. But otherwise, you totally got this. All right.
All right.
Ready?
Got it.
Steady. Go.
Trap. All right. A father and daughters at a concert, at this big pop stars concert. And while he's there, the father notices a huge, strong police presence. I mean, thick up in there. And so he asks one of the concession vendors, like, yo, what's up with all the police at the doors? And the vendor's like, yo, have you heard that there's a serial killer called the Butcher that's killed all these people? And they found out that the Butcher is here tonight at the concert, and this whole concert is a trap to catch him. And the dad is like, oh, wow, that's so crazy. I hope they catch him. Well, turns out that he is the Butcher. And so he spends this whole concert trying to figure out, how am I going to get out of this arena without getting caught? Because every exit is guarded with police. So he hears that everywhere is guarded except backstage. So he figures out a way to get his daughter to be picked as the person to come on stage to dance with the pop artist. And he tells the people that the baby had leukemia and God is good, and now she don't have it no more. Or maybe she's in resistance. I don't know. And so they say, oh, that's so sweet. So they pick her to come up and dance with the girl on stage. So he goes backstage like, yes, I'm about to get out of here. But when he gets backstage, he's like, oh shit, the guards are back here too. So he's like, how am I going to get out? So he corners the pop artist and says, hey, I'm gonna let you know something. I'm gonna let you know a secret. I'm the Butcher. Ha. And if you don't help me get out of here, I'm gonna kill my latest victim. And he pulls up a live stream of him trapped in the basement. And the girl is like, okay. And so they get out on the way out. The pop artist flips the script and be like, hey, daughter, don't you want me to come to your house? Wouldn't that be cool? And the daughter's like, yay. And Butcher's like, no. So they end up going to the house. And while she's there, she's stalling for time, and the pop artist ends up outing the dad as the Butcher, as the killer. He's the Butcher, he's the killer. And so the police come, he escapes, she gets away. The Butcher finds the pop artist and takes her away, and the police come again. And he gets away. He goes back to the house, confronts the wife. The twist is the wife knew that he was the Butcher because she thought he was having an affair on her. That was the twist. But she's the one who outed him in the first place. And the police came. They tased him. He got the spoke. They locked him up. He got out of the handcuffs and he drove away laughing. And that's Trap.
And that's the plot.
That was excellent.
That was really good.
That was good.
Yes. You did that. Take a bow. A breath.
My God. Y'all had me talking like I was on Scandal. Because they talk so fast. They talk so fast on that show.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, they talk so fast on that show.
I love that.
All right.
Yes, but you did that. Okay, so
thank y'all.
Get into our first segment, because it's a lot to talk about for this. Our first segment, likes and gripes.
And now our likes and gripes.
Okay, so I just want to put it out there that Desmond and I saw this in the movie theater together.
Okay.
So it was a fun experience, and I know Jamie, you and Brian just saw this today as we are recording this.
Yeah.
So it's even more fresh on your mind.
Nice.
But Des, could you please start us off with your likes and gripes for this?
Okay. M. Night.
Yes.
One thing he is nothing if not consistent.
Okay.
I will say that. And
Talk about it.
and like I told Nikisha, I said, man, he knows how to do it. He gets me every time, because those trailers will be so great, and the production is it's like gowns, beautiful gowns, like gorgeous gowns. and then and you get in it, and then it's like when you get to the end, you're just like, oh, really? Oh, okay. And that has happened for me more often than not when it comes to our brother M. Night. So kudos to being consistent. I at this point I'm not let down anymore because I know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, show me, show me who you are. Maya Angelou said, if someone tells you who they are, believe them. And M. Night, we believe you. We believe you. But anyway.
I mean, that's maybe the most accurate thing that I've heard about M. Night in a long time.
I mean, listen, again, I feel like he topped himself with the debut with Sixth Sense. I think, it was just like, boom. I was like, man, he should have saved that one. That could have been like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, bro.
Well, I know. That's a good Desmond. I agree because the Sixth Sense is like a top 5 horror movie, maybe even a top 10 movie.
Period.
And obviously that has a lot to do with when I saw it, but it still is a very effective and it holds up really nicely.
Really does.
Even the exposition holds up like most of the time in that movie. But like, talk about the huge gap between that movie and the rest of his filmography.
I'm just saying.
Except for maybe oh my gosh, why can't the second one?
Oh, Signs.
Unbreakable.
Oh, Unbreakable. Oh, my bad. Okay.
I did like Unbreakable.
I did like Unbreakable. Okay.
But still, I get what you're saying. Totally.
Yeah.
If someone shows you who they are, believe them. Yeah. Why? Yeah.
But likes. Okay. Let me look at my notes here. They may not make sense because I was in the dark in the theater. I like because I'm a concert goer. I like going to concerts. So I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, okay, I've never seen something shot primarily like in what looked like could have been an actual concert. I didn't know at the time that his daughter was like a musical artist, all of that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that's interesting. Okay, interesting concept on that. Let me see. Of course, the safe word was it was
Go ahead. You say.
Like our reaction was so like we just like, oh. We literally just fell out on each other in the theater when they said it. It was like, and Nikisha was like, we can't escape from it. We can't escape from it.
You can never escape Hamilton.
It's so weird. It's so interesting, that show, how it literally is a cultural phenomenon, even in 2024. And that show came out in, so many years ago. So again, that show for me, it changed. I know it changed my life and career. So I will always bow my head and tip my hat to Hamilton, because if it wasn't for that show, I wouldn't be on Broadway right now. Yeah. So I am, yes, but that was like, okay, oh wow, okay, yeah. Right. Let me see, likes. Now, one thing I will say M. Night never lets me down on is that sound design. Oh my God. I've like the scene where she's in the bathroom with the phone, the pounding. Like, he always has a scene where it's that kind of sound design that is just like so gratifying to me, because it was so much pounding. Then you could hear the conversations of everybody behind the door, just the way it was, mixed and placed and all of that. He's really good about that. The sound design.
Yeah.
Let me see. Likes. Who?
You're struggling.
Josh Harnett was great. He was great. Now, one thing about Josh, he's gonna act. He's gonna act. Mm-hmm. He's gonna act, and he's gonna do it was great to see him. I didn't see him in Oppenheimer, but I missed Josh from the Faculty back in the when he was the hot throb back in the day, like brooding, always very very pre Lakeith Stanfield, brooding, and to see him like playing this like father and like hi and doing kind of like like this, I was like, okay, Josh, I see you. Another thing I thought I liked was whatever filter they had on Josh during those close-ups. I need it.
The skin was smooth.
The skin was skinning.
Yes.
Not a
absolutely.
wrinkle or pore in sight.
Yes.
I'm like, I need that filter on all of my Instagram posts.
Absolutely.
But no, he looked
the
great.
trap concert filter.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yes.
And honestly, Josh was the jewel of the movie. Honestly, just watching him.
So, I think you're wrong there. I think the jewel of this movie was the only Kid Cudi.
Oh,
and I even told Nikisha, I said, is that Kid Cudi? Because it was so. And then when he turned, I saw them teeth. I said, that's Kid. That's Kid. And he was like, that is him. I was I said, okay, that was not on my bingo card for this movie.
No.
Do you think that was the twist? Do you think that's the new M. Night twist?
I was now talking about unexpected. That was unexpected.
Unexpected.
100% unexpected. Was not ready for that. Had no idea he was even, totally unexpected, to the point where I was just like, what is happening right now?
Where are we at now?
Where are we right now?
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't realize that it was PG-13 at the time, because I was like, this is low key a family film. I was like, I could have brought my niece. I was thinking, I'm used to, M. Night, bringing the, but those were my top likes. I mean,
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. I was like, I was reaching. Okay.
You are allowed.
Sometimes we're harsh critics. Sometimes I feel bad.
Oh no! I watched what was the episode that y'all let this one movie have it, and I told Nikisha, I was like, y'all are loving this. What movie was it? I can't remember.
I forgot, but
y'all were talking about.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. I can't remember. I literally was listening. I was on the bus headed to work one night, and I was like, "Damn, y'all let this movie have it." And she was like, "Yeah, we get kind of, so.
We get kind of intense. It's fine."
I was so tickled because I agreed wholeheartately, but I was just like, "Oh, these are my people," because I'm like, "Yes, I totally feel the same way." But yeah, those were a few of my likes. Yeah.
You can talk about your gripes if you want to. Tell us that. We'll just put it all together.
All right. Well, another I like product placement. I like spotting. So shout out to Shake Shack. I saw.
Big time.
At the arena. It's like, come on, Shake Shack. Come on, play product placement. Okay. Again, I didn't know that it was PG-13, so I was expecting more of the horror aspect of it that we're used to with M. Night, whether it's like, the whatever, like pop, not even just a jump scare, because even like the fry cook situation was like, I said, so girl, you just gonna stand and look over at you see the grease and the bottles, and you just gonna say, huh? Because there's so much time went by from her discovery of the boiling bottles to the actual explosion where she was crying, somebody come save me. I said, girl,
that weirded me out.
Yeah. Like that's one of those situations where, like, I understand that the editor is keeping that shot in longer so that the audience can like pick up on what's happening. But it makes the actress stand there longer and be like, wait, what's happening? So like, so to your point, Desmond, like, I get why they do it, but I really agree with you that I think it takes away from like that bang, bang, like what? Huh?
Yes.
Boom. Yeah, I totally agree.
It should have been like, she hears the boiling or whatever. She looks, that's weird. Looks over. Oh my God. Boom. And that would have like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like that would have been so much more effective, in my opinion, than the way it was edited. Because even then, like when the reveal like of her, how she looked or whatever, and I was just like, oh, okay. But had I known this was PG, this was a family film, I would have been like, oh, okay.
This is
okay.
fine. Whatever.
This is fine. This is fine. Because I think my last M. Night movie was old. Has he had one since then?
Yeah, Knock at the Cabin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did see that too. But of course, I'm just saying I'm used to those, deformity pop outs or something that's going to make you say, like that. So that's when I'm going into it, and it wasn't that. I told Nikisha, as much as I liked the concert aspect of it, the music, it was so music driven, and now I understand, because he's like, this is my daughter, so I'm putting her music out. I get it. Yeah. I would do the same thing. But the pop music definitely took away from the tension of the movie.
Interesting.
Because, music, to me, music makes the story, makes anything, whether it's scary or, it's the music. It's the strings, it's the ominous chords, the dark minor chords or whatever. And, and as they tried to build the tension, whether it was Josh, you could see his gears turning, trying to figure out how to get out. Then they return back to be like, uh-oh. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, now we got to start the tension all over again. Because now we're pop locking up on the stage and, all those things for me.
Absolutely.
Again, had I known it was a family film, I was like, oh, this is great. It's giving Disney Plus is, great. It's giving The Descendants Part 3. Love it. But, I have an 11-year-old niece, so that's how I know all these Disney references or whatever.
Well, and Brandy, side note.
And Brandy, right. It's Cinderella. Like, oh my God, it's amazing. Let me see. Okay. This was my biggest thing, though, and I'm going to get out your way. When he, at the end, when he was like, yo, I'm gonna just let you know I'm the butcher. She's like, what? What you mean? And he like, so this was about to go down. If you don't help me get out of here, I'm gonna kill this random person that you do not know, that has no ties to you whatsoever. I'm kill him. So either save me or kill him. And she was like, okay, now wait a minute. So that's when I took a hard lean to the left.
Yes.
I was like, now, is this, because I was like, is this her brother? Is this her cousin? Is this her friend? I'll take a friend. I'll take a next door neighbor. Like, I don't really know them because I'm always on tour, but I know they live in the same cul-de-sac with me. And for her to be like, okay, I'm gonna go with this serial killer in my car and out of here, because he's going to kill some random person that I don't know. The stakes just wasn't high enough for me to believe that she, with her little petite self, bless her heart, cute self, beautiful gowns, that she would go with this big, huge Josh Harnett person.
Yes.
In the car, away from everybody. I'm just like, now that's when it got a little like, okay, this is getting a little silly. So for me, the stakes were not high enough for her to make that decision. And then she was like, hey, let's go to your house. What?
It's like,
girl,
what is the mindset here?
What is happening? It's 2024. We hardly leave our house for people that we know.
Right.
And you're about to, so that was for me, that was like it's getting kind of silly at this point. That for that moment thing was a gripe. And then the twist. Yeah, the twist was
the twist. It happened.
It was
something.
It was
like
something.
The wife twist.
Yeah, the wife twist.
Okay.
Yeah. It as like I said, nothing if not consistent. I left a lot to be desired, and I was like, man, now I'm rewriting his screenplay. And I'm like, man, if he would have did this, and if that would have happened, maybe this would have happened. I'm trying to give like a redeeming situation. What could have happened,
to
make it make sense? Whether it's like, I was telling Nikisha, I was like, what if she was like a killer too? And we didn't know about her killings because we had been just focused on, his killings.
That's what we thought. So Jamie and so Allison Pill was in the credits at the beginning, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then when she showed up as the wife, I'm like, there's another twist coming, because you don't hire Allison Pill and just have her be the wife for 2 scenes. Like that the casting gave that away, whatever the twist is going to be. But I definitely thought that she was going to be in on it. like a scenario where it's like, how did you let them get caught? How did you get caught? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like that type of a thing. And then it was obviously this one. But because one hanging question I had, I was like, he doesn't seem like a person who would just like leave his like stub in his like house,
like
you know, like that
somewhere.
the receipt, like that just seemed
he's OCD. Like he doesn't even want a hammer crooked on the wall. Like he's not gonna leave.
Yeah. But
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely saw a twist coming, and so like I was kind of like ready for it because Allison. You don't hire Allison Pill to not have one of those like big, just like if you saw Manchester by the Sea, like you don't hire Michelle Williams to just do nothing, and then her one big emotional scene came. I was like, that's why you hire.
That's why you hire.
Yeah.
So that was. Yeah, you know, of course, I was just like, how could we even the daughter? I was like, man, he could have made it like a Mr. Brooks situation where, like, you know, maybe the daughter had an inclination of the same thing he was doing.
Mr. Brooks is a great movie,
or something like father like daughter. I don't know, but I was like, I was waiting on the twist, and the credits were rolling.
It's like still waiting, but
I was still waiting because I was like, I know the movie's over, but I was like, come on, M, come on, and then the lights came up, and then we had to leave the theater.
I do want to piggyback off of some of the stuff that you said, Des, because my list is pretty short about this. This wasn't my favorite movie to watch. But there was some interesting. I mean,
do you do other things to movies as opposed to watch them?
It wasn't my favorite movie to study.
Fair.
Okay?
Yeah.
So going back to the songs and the concert stuff, like those songs were not my cup of tea, and I'm trying to be nice in my subjectiveness of talking about this, but like each and every song just all kind of sounded the same for me. And I know that it's not supposed to be about the music, but like if you are putting your daughter, who is an active musician and singer, out there, it was kind of like
he made it about
all of these songs kind of fell flat for me. So it was just like and then if your main focus is not really the concert, why are we getting so much of this performance? I don't need it. You know, you were at a concert and that's fine. Like I understand the whole thing of bringing her on stage because that leads you to how they escape and all that stuff, like totally fine. But yeah, just some of the songs, I kind of was just like, this is it's not my cup of tea, and that's fine because that's not what the movie is about. It's an afterthought anyway. But yeah, what are you gonna say, Brian?
So I agree with you. I think that your point and Desmond's point combined, in terms of Desmond talking about how some of the songs cut the tension of certain sequences, and then you saying like they're kind of, the songs didn't hit the spot. I agree with you. I think that the character of that Lady Raven could have been more interesting in the context of the concert and the songs that they did leading up to the on stage stuff. Like if those songs were, I'm just gonna say it, if those songs were like Sia Vox Lux level of good, like I feel like in terms of like, I don't know, like I actually think that the concert should have been more of a character, if you will, like within those scenes. I'm again, we just saw it, so I'm just kind of like piecing this together based on what you said, and I'm still processing. But like, I do think that the artist and the music could have been more of a not the artist, not Lady Raven per se, but the music could have been more of a character, because they started to do that stuff with Lady Raven. For instance, she gave that speech about like letting things go, and like it was connecting with Riley because it was about like the friends and like all of that stuff. And then, but also him, as he couldn't let the mother stuff go. Like he's the only one who didn't raise his thing. Like he couldn't let all that go. Like I think that was cool because we're seeing like that she is an empathetic human, and that felt very concerty. Like there's always a moment in the concert where like they get like real with the audience and that type of thing. And I felt like that hit that pocket really nicely and started to like create this character. And then it kind of like nothing really happened. And then one of my gripes, I'm not going to do my full thing, I just want to piggyback. One of my gripes was like, why introduce the inhaler if you're not going to bring it back at the end? Like, if you're not gonna, I thought what was gonna happen is that he was gonna pickpocket her inhaler. She was gonna have an asthma attack, and then that would be like the distraction. Like, but also maybe you're doing the asthma to show that she's just a regular person, or maybe in a different version of the edit it was something else. But like, I get that. But the more that you could make her an empathetic person who genuinely cares about everyone, and they do show that when she's nice to the woman who falls and Kid Cudi's a piece of shit to his assistants, like they're trying to do that so that the moment that didn't work for you, Desmond, they were trying so hard to get that to work that she chose the individual over the greater good, essentially, or whatever it is. So, but I don't think it was strong enough.
We didn't earn it.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I needed more. Like,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she became the main character for
the
like
main
a little
character.
bit.
Exactly. She was a background actor in the whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we needed more Lady Raven's perspective before she got into the booth where she was like, "What's happening?" You know, like know, that type of a thing. Like, even if backstage they're like, "You have to do 3 more songs." Like we need more time. Can you do 3 more songs? It's like I don't have any more. Like okay, but I'll do it for the greater good. Like we got moments of that like just showed how invested she was in catching this person. Like I don't know that but that goes back to the music, and like if the music had been stronger, then I think those moments of like that juxtaposition of like, I'm feeling this bop and this beat as an audience member. Like, what is this song? This is really good. But on the flip side, while he's trying to get out, but I do appreciate that everyone in that audience knew those lyrics. Like, it felt like they were real fans. Anyway, I went on my little but I agree with you.
That felt like a real concert. Yeah.
Yeah. Parlor. Did you say parlor talk, Jamie?
I did.
Concert parlor talk.
Come, sit, have a drink. It's parlor talk.
But I want to piggyback off of that because I did not like Lady Raven's acting performance at all. I just really thought that
she's so cute though.
She's so cute. But cute. I think at first it's like, is it the script? Is it because the trajectory of her career? But it's like, no, it's both. It's both things, in my opinion. As someone who will never say that I'm an actor first, but just like I didn't feel any connection to her. I didn't feel any empathy for her. It just all kind of fell flat for me. And also her character journey just didn't make sense because like Desmond said, this is a complete stranger that you're trying to protect. And also to your point too, Brian, we needed more of her background journey because it's like, why are we finding out halfway when the movie is over that she knows all about the butcher and all about his mom issues? Also, why would they even tell her about all that stuff in the first place? Why is that important for her? The only thing that she would need to know or have clearance or knowledge for is that they're trying to catch this person. And if you're going to give her all this background information about his mom issues and all the stuff like that and all the things that he's done, how are you then not going to even recognize him when he's right in front of you? If you've been given all of that clearance information about like who the butcher is and how he's supposed to move and manipulate people and all that stuff, and he still got you. So then it's like, what's the point of even knowing all of this information if you're not going to use it for the character's journey overall? Sorry, that was like a big, but that was like one of my biggest things about her character in general. They were giving her all this information, but not using anything to make it all connect together. So that was like one of my huge gripes, because when she started talking to him in the car like his mom, because she knew like how to talk to him, to like manipulate him, like, why do you know this stuff? You are literally just there so that they can trap him. And it's like, would they ever in an actual situation like inform the artist of that much information about this guy? Like, I can't.
Well, it also seems like the seminar that they talked about, like that everybody knew how to talk to him. Like they all, every individual at the. Honestly, I was hoping for some sort of a sequence that they filmed where like they would go through everything, like that
what
like,
they talked
that
about.
seminar. I don't know
Yes.
if that like that type of thing,
Mhm.
because they do a half-assed one with the SWAT team when he's doing the coffee in the back.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just with Jamie and I think Jamie and I laughed at this movie during all of the exposition because it was just like this may have been his most heavy-handed exposition movie to date.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah.
But I will say, because I definitely just skipped over the likes that I did have for this movie. I do love how he shoots things. One of my favorite shots in this was when the wife was, you can see her through the tea kettle and she was like doing her thing, like the reflection of it. I just thought that was a really cool shot. I also like the idea of being in the killer's perspective. Like, so kind of opposite of what you said, Brian. It's like I did like that we were only following along from the butcher's perspective and not necessarily like everyone who was trying to trap him, because it was just like you don't know what their next move is going to be. You're just following what he is trying to do, and I think that for me is more interesting. The term "crispy" had me absolutely laughing as the slang word of
That was
something
really
that
funny.
is. It's like that whole thing was fun. Also, we did not mention the butcher talking to that friend's mom.
Oh my
off and
God.
on.
Oh my
yes.
god!
And the way she went hard at him.
She
all
like
of a
flipped a
sudden.
switch.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
It was
That was
so
weird.
weird. Yeah, it's like, why are we here? What are we doing this for?
And then she
like,
flipped it right back.
Yes, and she's
Yeah.
like,
Like-
oh, okay, yay.
Oh, okay. well,
That gave me hardcore Donnie Darko. You're not committing to sparkle motion vibes.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. But then it was also funny because then it's like her daughter is a piece of shit too. Like, and they have the moment where like she's yelling at her daughter and her daughter's yelling at her.
That was amazing. Oh man, that was so good.
I did like that the wife was involved in some kind of way. Like, cool, even if he didn't land it. Like, yay for that twist or whatever. And then my last gripe is about the OCD, because there was a moment, and I don't know if it was like editing or whatever, but when he's taking Raven into the garage to put her in the car and he knocks down something, but he doesn't pick it back.
He doesn't pick it up.
That
He doesn't
bothered
pick
me.
it up.
So, especially because throughout this entire movie, when he's at the Shake Shack, he's folding his napkin a certain way. Like, they make it. He puts his garbage in the cup. Like they are going out of their way to make give us the stereotypical movie OCD traits, and then he knocks that thing down and he doesn't go back and pick it up and like hang it like.
Yes.
And he even takes his shirt off to like so he doesn't get it bloody. Like it puts it on the side because you're like, and that his jeans are gonna get a bit dirty, but like whatever. But like yeah, that got me too. That took me out of that moment for sure.
I was like, because I think like seconds later he does like adjust something else, and it's like, dude, I just realized you just knocked over this whole entire.
Over a whole. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. This is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think to Dez's point, it's like you kind of know what to expect now, and this is consistent with kind of the other things, especially now that I've watched, because of y'all in this podcast, some more M. Night stuff. Yeah, this just kind of is sitting in the realm of all of the other movies that he has done. Even though I love the concept of this, and I don't even think necessarily this was trailer failure in a way either.
That's one of my likes.
Yeah.
You listen. You have to sell this movie on the idea that he is a serial killer that is stuck in this trap at this Taylor Swift last concert. That's your.
Did they tell that part in the trailer? I never saw the trailer.
Yeah.
That's how you sell this movie. That's fine. But like, very little of this movie is actually in the trailer, so like that definitely kept me engaged because I just didn't know what was going to happen next because I didn't have. I knew what you were going to add to the concert because in the trailer, like they are driving around the suburbs or something like that, but like I didn't know what was going to happen. So like Definitely not a trailer failure, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Would I have liked to go into this movie not knowing anything? Yes, but like that's totally my fault because I watched the trailer. But like you know, like that anyway. But yes,
it
I
didn't
agree
take
with
away.
Nikisha.
It didn't take
No,
away
no,
from.
no, no, no.
And I agree. I was engaged too because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I don't think there was ever a moment where I felt bored watching this movie, which is great. But yeah, it was just all this other things, and maybe I was just entertained by like all the other random bad shit that was happening in this movie.
Sure.
But I was engaged nonetheless. So yeah, that's all of my stuff. Brian or Jamie, go forth.
Yeah. So yes, we watched this film today. I I had a lot of fun watching this movie. And I think the reason is I saw like I obviously like I'm chronically online, and so I started to get some content that was just like around the framing of this movie while still avoiding spoilers. But I do feel like I had the right expectations going into this movie, which made it a much more enjoyable experience for me. I think part of it is kind of what Desmond is saying of like what to expect out of good old M. Night. And I think that that's valid in like this later phase of his film career, because I can consistently assume and have not been proven wrong yet that like I can't expect a lot out of his dialogue. Like anytime M. Night is credited as the writer for a movie that he is directing, my expectations are like, okay, readjust accordingly. Because
Fair.
I think that M. Night's greatest strength is he creates, he has great, like very creative story ideas, and like the concepts that he has are so clever. And I want to like, I want to exist in that world. I want to know more. The problem that I think he has is he does not know how to write people talking like just regular people
Normal.
talking.
Interesting.
No one in this movie talks like a human being. I want to know the people that he keeps around him, because I am convinced that he like has never spoken to another human ever in his entire life. And despite that, I still have a great time, because again, it's like I know that he will, if he is writing, if he's the exclusive writer on any film that he is directing, I just know that the the exposition is going to be like if there was like a little, you know, like a sound studio where they like push the button all the way, it's like at 100.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yes.
I don't know if it's like not always thinking that like your audience is smart enough to figure stuff out on their own, but like there's just so much over explaining of things that just doesn't need to happen. I think that's also with like the oil explosion too. It's like even editing that, like you don't need us to you don't need your editor to linger on that shot for too long. I know that's more of an editing issue, but still I think like he wrote this movie, so like he obviously wrote that part into it too. We don't need it to see it for like 20 minutes. It's not that long. It just it feels very long. But I think like, you know, something like a strength of a writer is like giving your audience a little bit more credit, that like we're not just like a bunch of dumb idiots paying to watch your movie. Like we're like, so you know, some of us have the ability to think critically, so like give us a little bit more credit when you're writing your movies. You don't have to explain every single thing. But also like observe other people communicating with each other. And what I would love to see for a future M. Night movie is just, can you co-write a movie with someone? Like I just want one other person's perspective on this script before before the final pass. I would love that, because again, I love the story. I was very excited by like, oh, it's going to be a concert. Like my first thought before like the first trailer came out was like, oh, like, you know, Concert Crush is something that's like terrifying to me, and something that almost makes me like not want to go not go to big events anymore. I was like, it could be about that. Like it could have been about anything with large crowds. And then it was this, and I was like, oh, this is even weirder. I don't even know if I would have thought about this. And then, you know, then the movie happened. So but I think that he has really excellent ideas.
He
I
does,
just
yeah.
would love for more voices to potentially be in the room with him in executing some of these ideas.
Absolutely.
But again, I think that I set really, like, my expectations were met. And I'll spoil one of my suggestions now because I feel like it's kind of similar of like it kind of reminds me of The Visit in that, like, I think that I had to very quickly readjust my brain for that movie, and I love that movie.
Oh,
It's
I
a
forgot about
wildly
The Visit.
silly,
Yeah, that was
movie.
yeah.
But I have so much fun, and so this felt similar in that, like, when I readjusted, I just had a fun time. I was just laughing and like taking it all in and enjoying, like, you know, like just Josh Hartnett's character being very bizarre, and like just all of the elements that all of you have spoken about so far. It's like, yeah, and I was like eating it up because it was so weird and silly. But like, yes, but that is what I expected to happen. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be like a very divisive thing. I think people are either going to, like, you know, really dislike it because they felt like their expectations were let down based on the trailer, or I think people are like similar of like, you know what, he M. Night's just a silly goofy guy, and this is just another silly goofy movie that we're getting out of him.
Yes. Silly goose.
So yeah, so I had a good time. I also wait, there was I was also anticipating because M. Night has a big ego. When was he going to show up in this film?
Yes,
And
the
Brian,
cameo.
I forget when was the cameo that you thought it was going to be, and you leaned over and you were like, if that was him in this moment, I would have fucking walked out of this
I
movie.
thought that he was gonna be the rapper that they were chanting for that came up through the floor.
Oh,
There was a moment where I was
that
like,
one. Yeah.
if this is him, I'm leaving.
Absolutely.
That would have been so funny. But no, I think they played it much better where he was like supportive
The
uncle.
Yeah.
Totally.
Still over explaining things, still inserting yourself in your own movie, but you know what? Whatever. I appreciate it now at this point. I look forward to it and seeing it every time.
It's the Stan Lee effect. Like, where's he gonna
yeah,
pop up?
or like Alfred Hitchcock. Like,
Alfred,
you know, it's like
yeah.
where when are you gonna show up?
Yeah.
Yes.
In terms of the Lady Raven stuff with his daughter, there's something, and maybe this is like my pregnancy hormones, but I kind of like that he essentially just made a movie to kickstart his daughter's music career.
That is literally
like,
what this movie feels like.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
No, it's like, you know what, if we're gonna like nepotism our way into this, like, let's just like go full throttle. And to be fair, again, like, she had some bops. Like, I would be interested in like checking out Spotify after and just like re-listen to some of the songs within the context of just listening to the songs separate from the movie context, because I was like, oh, like, you know, some of these are pretty catchy, but I was so focused on like, okay, but what's going to happen with the movie that I couldn't really like kind of split my attention totally in both ways. But like, yeah, I'm like, you know what, like, way to be a girl dad. This movie is about multiple girl dads. And
nice, yeah.
I like
and
that.
Yeah,
I'll accept that.
I appreciate that. So that was really interesting. I think I'm trying to think if there's any other like big likes that I have. I also wasn't really necessarily expecting another big twist. I don't think that this movie is trailer failure, but I don't think it was necessary. I guess, like, I don't even know how you would do a trailer of this movie without spoiling that Josh Hartnett is the butcher.
Right.
But there's a part of me that's like, I wish I didn't know that information because I feel like it would have made it more fun. But then I think because M. Night has set the expectation that there will always be a twist. And so people are always looking for something else. I wasn't really expecting anything else because again, like the later movies, I feel like the twist is fairly light, if we can even call any of these things happening a twist. So like at the end when it's like, oh, he didn't drop the ball, like his wife figured it out, like guess that's a twist, but I a light twist, light.
Twist
But
light.
it was
I was gonna say,
it was
yeah,
such
light.
it was so interesting even when she was like, and I followed you, and I thought you were having an affair, and when I saw it was just a table and a chair, I was like, oh, he must be the butcher.
Like,
Yeah,
immediate
I was like,
connection.
oh
like,
wow,
that's
the
what you-
connection 0 to 100, like
Truly.
true. And then you were like, so then I
Truly.
set you up and like called the police, and I was like, oh my god, like Brian, if ever you are suspecting anything weird from me, can I just ask that you bring it to my attention first before
Bring
like,
it to me first.
assuming I'm a
Yeah, but you're
serial
not
killer.
gonna tell me you're the butcher.
Right. Jamie's
But give me
keeping it
give me the chance though. Like if I
Yeah,
lied
just,
to you,
you
then be like,
know.
okay, now I'm going to the.
Yeah, just direct any inquiries you have directly with me first, and we can talk it
That's
out. I think that's
hilarious.
fine.
It's fine. Brian was just
Um,
looking for his parlor. That's what the table and chair was. His parlor.
Oh right, yeah, totally.
Oh man.
But so I think that my biggest gripe is really related to like the mental health stuff, because
Yeah.
M. Night really does like to feature mental health in a lot of his movies thematically, but I kind of don't always like the way that he goes about it, and feels like, and it's hard because again, there's the piece where it feels like he doesn't fully trust his audience, which is why he over explains things. But then you're picking a mental health disorder to like be representative of a character in your movie, and then also maybe not going about explaining it in the best way. So it's like you're going to over explain some things and then under explain or misrepresent other things, and
Yes.
it's like pick and choose one. You either like trust that your audience is like smart enough to figure stuff out, or you like very clearly explain all the things that you want to say about OCD, which I'm even questioning, is it, and we'll probably get into like OCD, like obsessive compulsive disorder, how sometimes that can be misinterpreted for something else. And so I'm just kind of like, as soon as they mentioned that, I was like immediately annoyed because that's not what I was expecting. I was just expecting like he's a serial killer, so like I'm sure that they'll throw in some like sociopath tropes, which they also do that as well. But like the OCD of it all like really rubbed me the wrong way. So that's my biggest gripe with this movie is I
That's
just
fair.
wish, again, I don't know like who is supporting him in writing these movies. I would love to know that, like, it seems like he's really interested in exploring mental health in horror, but like please do it in an informed way. I ask this of all future horror writers of like let's do a better job at representing mental health in horror films, because it often gets the shittier end of the stick. So
I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm looking at his filmography right now, and if you go through it, the majority of them deal with mental health in
some
some
type of
way.
mental.
Yeah.
I was
So
thinking that too,
moving,
yeah.
going backwards, you have Trap, which was the OCD and all of that. Knock at the Cabin, you kind of have the idea of like discrimination and how that affects you, like the two of them thinking back to their families and how they were treated as a gay couple, and one of the like that feeds directly into the decision making in that movie, and it's featured heavily in those flashbacks. Old, I don't remember Old that well, but like they're all dealing with things on the beach. I guess it's more medical stuff. I don't know. I mean, Glass,
no,
absolutely.
isn't there a character who has dementia or Alzheimer's, and it like escalates like significantly
Yes,
because of
on
the
the-
aging element.
Right.
And or
Oh.
no, isn't
Spoiler
doesn't a
alerts for all
character-
these movies potentially.
Yes.
By the way.
Oh yeah. Or there's someone that maybe has schizophrenia actually,
Maybe.
and that's what escalates, I think.
It was
Who was like a surgeon married to like the trophy wife.
a real pretty woman. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think, yeah, so I think there was a
I would
character
rewatch that one.
has schizophrenia.
Then you
I
have
haven't
Glass
watched it.
and Split, which is just like very clearly
about, yeah.
dealing with that. The Visit, yes,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
they come from the Well, I don't want to spoil it, but yes, definitely. Skipping After Earth, Last Airbender, The Happening, skipping. Lady in the Water. I mean, the Paul Giamatti character, like watch his whole family die or something like that. Like, and that's why he
That's how that movie starts.
No, it doesn't start, but like you find out at some point that like his whole family died, which is why as the super of this building, like he keeps his distance, but like everyone he considers them family and stuff like that. Then you have The Village, which I mean, aside from the Adrian Brody character being like outrageous, you have there is some like ethical mental health. Well, no, it's all trauma. It's all trauma based. What the hell am I talking about? That movie is completely about the trauma they had. Signs. I mean, you have him more like fighting with his grip on religion,
his faith.
Yeah. Unbreakable. I mean, because I guess him coming to terms with who he is. I guess it's more indirect. I guess.
But Samuel L. Jackson was dealing with his trauma. That's like why he was doing all this.
Oh yeah, the flashbacks to like him and the like tilt-a-wheel stuff, right. And then The Sixth Sense, he's a psychiatrist for children. So I mean, I think all of these like he bases it in some sort of mental health aspect of things, and some are way more well executed than others, obviously, but I think that's so interesting. You saying that, Jamie, made me think through his entire filmography, and I pulled it up. I was like, oh damn,
I never thought about it that way either.
Right. But like, don't misrepresent it. Like if you want to do a deep dive into it, like Jamie said, talk to some people.
Especially now that mental health is on the forefront of every conversation. That it wasn't maybe back when he started.
Yes.
But now, no, it's on the forefront of every conversation now. So you got to have a consultant. You got to come correct if you're going to come at all. Yeah. Totally.
Don't just like make up what you think it is.
So M. Night, if you're looking for your mental health consultant on your next film,
there you go.
Shoot your shot.
Hit me up.
I know that's right.
That's right. We'll tag him in the episode.
As a Philadelphia resident, I'm already in the place that I know you're gonna be. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's knowing Philly now. It's like I love how they're like in Philly and they turn. I'm like, that's not there.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't really call that a gripe, only because I'm like, they're obviously, it's hard. I will say, like, the geography of Philadelphia, of where the stadiums are, it is hard to know that you are in Philadelphia unless you know that all of the stadiums are together, which is like a very unique thing about the Philadelphia geography. It's like, I think people can see, like, they might know some of the markers of like downtown Philly, but the concert arenas and all of the sports arenas are all in South Philly, all in like one location together. And I was like, oh, was this filmed like at the Wells Fargo Center? Because that's where any like music concert would be. And then it was like the Tacoma Center and like the center of the city. And I was like, okay, that's not this. That's not here.
This was filmed in Toronto, I think.
I think you're right.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
But then they had like Market Street, and I was like, oh yeah, like the main drag in Philly. Good job.
Nice.
Screaming.
Oh man.
Jamie, do you have any more likes and gripes?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, Brian, give it to us.
I had a great time watching this movie. I like that. I was along for the ride. Like none of the stuff that like that would have derailed me in a different movie didn't here, because quite frankly, I appreciate if M. Night Shyamalan does anything well, narratively, it's keeping me engaged in what happens next, because I never expect the directions he takes things. None of this movie felt like your standard cat and mouse movie, and like I appreciated that. Like going out and then getting the pop star involved, and then like them going to the house, and then all that stuff and happening in like the fall festival, like all that stuff I was very engaged with, because like I just didn't know what was going to happen next. Like, and not from a twist perspective, just from a simple narrative, like who knows what are we doing here? Like I found that all very fun and exciting, even though I could be critical about all of that. I don't know why I give him grace. I don't. Because quite frankly, I actually think two reasons. Three reasons. One, his early movies were bangers, like truly great movies that like that still holds weight for me. Two, he actually has a point of view. None of his movies feel like these cookie cutter, we're just gonna pump out a Blumhouse movie, we're just gonna pump out this type of movie. And like that's why my butt is in a seat every time that he releases something, because I know I'm getting something unique.
I've seen them all too.
Exactly.
Like,
even if I don't enjoy one or the other, like I know that I'm getting something straight from an individual creative person. And then the third thing is that his movies are impeccably directed, specifically cinematography wise. This movie was gorgeous. The shots were interesting. The shots, the shot comp in this movie told a story, and like and whether it was from his perspective or from the stage or just like something was askew, like everything where his face was in halves because he's two people, like he's the father and he's the I just thought that like every single movie never disappoints on a technical aspect, and Desmond brought it up with the sound design. Like I just am it's a full experience, whether or not like I dig the experience or not. In general, I'm always getting an experience. So like that aspect of things, I'm just having a good time. Positives, I like that he leaned into the visit humor. Like quite frankly, this movie without a score, actually, like by score I mean like by featuring the concert, the movie felt less serious than his other movies because he didn't have that like James Newton Howard score like from The Village, like telling you this is important. Like, as much as I love those scores, I like that it took itself less seriously, especially with like the friend mom stuff, as we mentioned. Like MVP of this actual movie for me, like it's aside from this doesn't work without Harnett. I totally agree. My real MVP of this movie is Jamie, the t-shirt salesperson. He
Lord.
And I say that because he literally had the hardest job. He had all of the bad exposition lines, and he delivered them with some sort of joy and energy. And
You're
I
so
appreciate
strong.
that. Yeah, the worst one by far, without a question. And this goes back to Jamie talking about like our Jamie talking about the over-explaining of everything. The line that he said is like, "Man, you got real good family values. Like you're a real good family."
Oh my god!
And M. Night thinks that he needs to say that over and over again to justify the reason that he would get him the t-shirt and bring him back behind the scenes and get the t-shirts. Truthfully, if he had just said like, "You're a good dude, man. You know what? I'll get you a t-shirt." Like
that's enough.
That's enough. Like I didn't need to be like, "You have great family values." It felt very Dave Bautista and Knock at the Cabin, where like, you don't like I don't need like treat me with a little bit more respect in some ways. However, like I expect that, so I'm like I'm fine. The exposition, so I'm moving into gripes. The exposition of this in this movie was the worst of all of his movies, no question. Don't hire Miss Bliss and not use her at all. That felt so weird. Miss from the original Saved by the Bell.
Wait.
Oh, sorry, not a Saved by the Bell.
That was Miss Bliss.
The profiler was Haley Mills, Miss Bliss, the original Parent Trap girl.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
I didn't know.
She was deeply underutilized. It was very weird.
She was barely
because they never really showed her face. That's why I was like,
they never showed her face.
And I was like, why?
I needed. I don't know. That felt underutilized narratively.
Bliss? Shut up. That's the original Saved by the Bell. Like, shut up. Wow.
But like, I just needed. I don't know what it was. You have this whole mother thing, and then you have this older woman who's the profiler. There was that should have been connected, and not connected in like, oh, that's my mother or my aunt. Like not like that type of connected, but like. And it does get connected at the end because when he thinks he's talking to her mom, he's actually talking to the older woman. But I think there needed, instead of him seeing his mom, I think he sort of kept seeing her as his mom. I don't know. There was something that needed to be cleaner along the way there. So that was another thing. But I've talked about the asthma inhaler, but one of my biggest pet peeves about this movie and this is a stupid one, but like it really bothered me, was concert logistics. The thing that bothered me the most about the if this pop star is supposed to be like an Olivia Rodrigo or a Taylor Swift, there is no way in hell that the concourse and the corridors would have been that busy when she was still performing. There's no way. Like he was always like, when he ran into the mom, like it was packed at all times in those corridors. But if she was playing, no one's leaving their seats unless you're going to the bathroom. And at one point they made up that excuse that she was changing and doing scenes.
Costumes.
But that wasn't the whole. Like he kept going in and out, and it was always packed while she was singing. That actually doesn't feel real. So that bothered me.
Don't they do like kind of quick changes usually?
Yes. If it was a real,
well, let's ask Nikisha who saw Beyonce. I feel like that is a really good example of like a big concert where I'm assuming that she probably like changed outfits and like, I mean, she has a whole discography. Like, so what does that look like?
Right, but nobody left their seats.
No one leaves their
There
seats.
were dance interludes that were happening, like, and they were very quick changes, like less than the length of a song, like less than 3 minutes. Like she was there and out, and I don't think I ever saw anybody like actually walking out of the place. So
and also like as someone who's seen Weird Al many times, he had changes into his costumes and stuff. And in between, he has videos that you want to watch because it's the full experience.
Oh, that's what Beyonce was too. There was videos and stuff that you would not have seen unless you were there at the concert watching it. And so it was like, you want to see like these cool little effects and like a new Beyonce video.
The transitions and stuff.
The transition.
So here's a question for the group. In the movie has two pieces of factual information that feels in fighting with each other. So the first factual piece of information they say earlier in the movie is that, aren't you glad that they added this extra show in the afternoon? The daughter says that she's like, they sold out, but they added this extra concert, like this extra show in the afternoon, which is the one they're at. And then, they find the ticket stub. So what we as an audience, this is just my thinking. Earlier in the movie, we are supposed to believe that they make you think that this concert was added last minute because they wanted to trap him. But they wouldn't have known he was there until he actually bought the tickets to that.
Right.
So that was a weird thing, but it's justifiable in that, like, they bought tickets to this last one. He was a girl dad. He did something nice for his daughter last minute, and it ended up getting him caught and ruining his whole entire family's life. I just think that needed to be cleaner because that information was released early in the movie as if it was a clue to the trap. And then it was just kind of like, I don't know. I needed, and maybe that's just me trying to figure things out, but like the piece of information that I parsed out of this movie, like, I don't know that maybe this isn't a gripe. Maybe that's just a
no,
me thing.
I agree. Just because it feels like, if the wife found the ticket stub and then she called the cops and said, hey, I think he might be at this concert, and they show up, but they also made it seem like they purposefully already like made the concert for him to show up at, and that it wasn't like, so it's like, which one is it? Like, was it he got a ticket and his wife was the one who initiated like them trapped, like getting the police to get to the concert?
I
think they already, I get what you're saying.
I think it makes sense, but I think it's uneven, poor storytelling from these are the factual pieces of information. But sure, it's a last minute one. They bought tickets last minute. You can make that believe that he was, because it was such a last minute purchase, he was like, that's why he dropped the ticket stub. Like, and I don't know, something like that, the receipt, whatever. Desmond, you were going to say something?
Well, I know in like concert world, because I didn't pick up on that clue. They added this show, but I do know shows are added when artists go on tour, especially like in big markets like a Philly, like a New York City or whatever. They'll announce the tour dates. Going to be there on Saturday at the arena. Okay. And then they'll come back later and say, just added it Sunday. So now it's a two night thing type of thing. So that is, that's a real
totally thing. That happens for sure.
And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. So now they're adding this extra show like they do. He gets the ticket, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The show is already scheduled. So now the police come in and be like, hey, Lady Raven, so this is what we're doing, with your show. My thing was with the show, and I mentioned this to Nikisha, there, the strong police presence, they were armed to the hilt.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Hassan Hussein, somebody like that was up in there. All of that, just to get to the end to tase him.
Interesting.
I said, excuse me?
Interesting.
I said, wait a minute. I mean, even when they thought they had him in the car when the crowd was around him, they popped out the window, pop, 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 pop. He wasn't in there. And the end, you got him and you tase him and keep tasing him. Like the tasing is not work. Tase him again. The tasing is not work.
The tasing at the end felt very Split. Where all of a sudden he's like this above and beyond like super villain,
right.
He's drugged and like he's still good. Like I don't know.
That's what Des said. Yeah,
that's what I said. He's drugged.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he got the strength to fight off, because at first he was moving around like and woozy, and woozy. He gets hit with electric, so that charges him. That supercharges him. Now his Duracell is going for it, and he's like tackling people. I'm like, no, what is this? But that was very interesting. Like y'all had all these gun rifles, high-powered rifles at this arena, and
also no one's questioning it. Like everyone's having a great time. Like if the SWAT team, if there were that much of a SWAT team right next to the stage at a concert, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
We're leaving. And if someone taps me on my shoulder talking about, you need to come here, we need to question you. The hell you are? What is you question me about nothing?
Yeah.
What?
It's so weird.
No men can leave the. What is this? Egypt? What are you talking about? No men can leave.
Oh yeah, they were like,
just women and children.
Yeah. I was like, what is this Titanic shit?
The Titanic? What? That was very weird.
Also, the logistics of stopping all 3,000 men going
3,000
is not realistic.
Come on.
But the last thing I will say is one of the reasons I really did like this is because it felt like M. Night's version of Dexter meets Friday the 13th. Like, the Dexter, regular guy, as a serial killer vibes, tied with, this, weird, mommy issues that Jason and Pamela have, that it reminded me of Friday the 13th Part 2, where she finds all of Jason's stuff in the shack and the whatever it is, and she puts on the mother's sweater. Jenny puts on the mother's sweater and starts pretending to be his mom, and he falls for it.
That's pre-mask. That's
pre-mask.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right there.
That's Baghead or whatever you want.
Yeah, that's the Crocosac bag. Yeah.
But man, his face must have been. He must have needed so much moisturizer.
Oh my god!
Burlap sack
with that one eye.
With the one eye.
The second one is great. The second one is a great movie. Anyway, those are my likes and gripes. I really did have a great time with this movie.
It was fun.
I really did.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Well, before we get into Brains, I just want to throw back out there the movie that we were all bashing that Des was like, y'all are going in.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what was it?
It was Night Swim.
Night Swim.
Oh, Night Swim.
God.
Oh yeah, Night Swim sucks.
Perhaps the worst horror movie of this year.
Yeah,
y'all let Night Swim have it.
It was time.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Scary
bull.
Yes,
okay. So moving on, because I do want to hear Jamie's thoughts on OCD. Let's get into it in our next section. Brains.
Tasty.
Okay. This is going to be 3 questions in one, so answer as you wish to choose. But I would love for you to first off just talk about from your professional standpoint, what OCD is, its symptoms, and if the movie, whatever the movie has said about OCD is actually true, or is it just a movie trope? And I also would like you to talk about, they mentioned that the butcher's very good at having two separate lives. And I want to know if that is also a result of the OCD, or is it another DSM-5 moment that they just were ignoring and letting OCD be the umbrella for all of his symptoms and such. And then after that, if you want a Billy and Stu, because that kind of ties into like whichever one is Billy or Stu, you know, with what you say.
Oh, come on, scream, yes.
I'm gonna play the Billy or Stu music now.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. It's a scream, baby.
Billy or Stu.
Cool, we're good.
Okay, so OCD also stands for obsessive compulsive disorder. There's basically like two experiences within that are like the marked experiences of OCD. So it's experiencing thoughts that are like uncontrollable and repetitive. So obsessions, that's where the O, obsessions, comes from. And then engaging in repetitive behaviors or compulsions in order to try to reduce the obsessive thoughts. And this is like, I would say that it falls under the anxiety umbrella, but it's a little bit more like specific just because of the like that connection between the obsessions and the behaviors, the compulsions. As with any diagnosis, the important thing to keep in mind is like that these experiences are impacting your ability to function on a regular basis, and they cause significant distress. So like we talk about a lot of things, we talk about anxiety, blah, blah, like I think a lot of people experience stress and anxiety, but like the difference would be like if it's actually interfering with your ability to like function and operate in any area of your life, like relationships, family stuff, work, taking care of yourself on a regular basis. So like in considering OCD, like it's having a significant impact on somebody's quality of life. With regard to OCD, there's a lot of representation in the media about it. And so I think there's some common thematic obsessions that people are probably really familiar with. And like, this is, it's based in reality as well. So like, I would say a common one that you see in media is like fear of germs or contamination.
Right.
So like that's, but that is also like based in reality. And so like, that would be the obsession, like the thoughts around like being contaminated by stuff, but it can be pretty severe. Like sometimes it could be as much as like, I'm afraid that like, if I don't clean this thing, or like, if this is contaminated, like my family could get sick and die. And so like, that's like the severity of the thought. And like, it is a thought, I call them sticky thoughts, because it's thoughts that like you cannot shake. It is like burning a hole in your brain. It's living there rent free, and nothing will make it go away until you engage in the behavior or the compulsion. And so that's where you might see like the obsessive cleaning or hand washing, like the extreme cleanliness to like this far degree. But the other thing with that is like, when you do that behavior, so like if you're having a thought that you're like afraid that you or your family is going to die because something might be contaminating your home, and then in order to combat that anxiety, you're cleaning your house, you're potentially cleaning yourself to the point of like it's like on the verge of self-harm. You might be like like your skin might be like just like really dry and like flaky and like bleeding and like awful. Like you might be using cleaning products constantly that are like causing significant harm. It's only very temporarily getting rid of the obsessive thought and the anxiety that comes with the obsessive thought. So in the moment, it's like, I can't deal with this stress. I need to do something about it. That's kind of how the cycle perpetuates itself, because you're just continuing to like just temporarily get rid of the stress, not deal with like the underlying issue that's like potentially triggering those obsessive thoughts. And so like then the thought comes back, and then you engage in the behavior again, then the thought comes back, then you engage in the behavior again, and it becomes like really cyclical. So that's just like one example. There's other things around like another common one, but like less discussed obsession is a fear of harming others, which is really interesting, where it's like you're afraid that and again, like this is real, where like someone's afraid that like if they see a knife, they're afraid that they're just gonna like grab that knife and just like stab, you know, a person in their home. And and that thought, the other thing is like these thoughts are very disturbing. And so somebody having a thought where they're like, I'm so afraid to like have anything that could potentially harm somebody in my vicinity because I'm scared, like I can't explain it, but like the knife is just gonna end up in my hand and I'm just gonna stab somebody. And it's such a terrifying, deeply disturbing thought. And then like again followed by like different compulsions to try to like reduce that anxiety. It could be like other unwanted thoughts. So those are just like some examples of like really common obsessive thoughts that people have, and then you know doing certain things in order to reduce that anxiety, but like it's very temporary. And people are able to recognize that like that, I think, is also an important thing, is like recognizing the thoughts and the behaviors, recognizing the connection, even though they feel like very helpless around dealing with them. It's like there's still an awareness of like this is problematic. Not maybe not for everybody. I don't want to like speak for everybody, but like there is a significant, again, because of the distress that comes with it. It's like very disturbing to be like thinking some of these things because it's terrifying thoughts that you're having. So that is the gist of OCD. And then there's another experience that is less common, but sometimes there's some like misinterpretation that like people might call something OCD, but it actually falls under this other category, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And so we've talked a little bit about personality disorders. That would include antisocial personality disorder, which is like where sociopathic like presentations in movies and things like that is usually coming from. Narcissistic personality disorder, like when we talk about narcissists, it's usually stemming from like that, which is an actual disorder in the DSM. So OCPD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder, is it's more of this like obsession, but the obsession is around like order and rules. But again, it's like to this like really extreme degree that it is like interfering with like your ability to like interact with other people. It's I would say the closest thing that you might be able to compare it to is like perfectionism, is like someone saying like that they're super type A, where it's like a very rigid way of like things need to be like this. And so like there sometimes I think is some extrapolating of like, is it OCD or is it OCPD because of the obsessive nature of like, is it like, does it fall like under this category or this thing? But I wanted to name it because I have mixed feelings about like how they present Josh Hartnett's OCD in this, because they really flippantly just like say it, and then he's doing things like folding his napkin or like organizing stuff. But then also he says some really interesting things about like people being in pieces, and like that he doesn't believe that because
he only chooses people who are whole.
And then like they talk in the beginning when they find the bodies that they're always in pieces, so it's like there's something interesting happening there. But like I feel like there's maybe something like more around like I don't know, the way I have a hard time fully buying into him having OCD, because we don't get enough of like, you know, what that experience is. Sure. But I wanted to bring up the OCPD because I do think that it is often like conflated with OCD. Yes. And there's a lot of overlap with like other like anxiety and like depression and other things like that, and other personality disorders. So it felt important to also name that like perhaps there was some connection to that, but I don't know. Sure. I'm not going to read too much into M. Night's script writing
choice to do that.
Yeah. And then
but you just will want more information. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
But you asked also about like, is him like separating or like compartmentalizing these two lives like characteristic of OCD, or is there something else? I mean, that to me feels more, I don't think that it's necessarily falling into like another diagnosis in the DSM. Okay. It just more reads to me as like serial killer behavior.
Just energy.
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
We all
okay,
it's just like Severance. But
exactly.
Yeah. No,
such a good show.
It's coming back. I'm so excited.
Yes, finally.
But yeah, I mean, to me, it's more of like perhaps he's just very, like very good at playing this like upstanding, you know, like father with his family and like going to this concert with his daughter kind of thing, girl dad. And then also like the parallel to that is that he is a serial killer. And like, again, I have not done heavy research into serial killers, so I can't speak to like, there's so many other resources that you can find on that. But like, I do feel like there's a lot of presentations where there's always like people, I hate these interviews too, where people are like, oh my God, like this was just like my regular Joe Schmo neighbor next door. Like nobody knew that he was a murderer. And I'm like, stop, can we stop with that? Like, this is like, I'm tired. But like,
that's how they paint serial killers in movies, though. You know, like the stepfather. You know, they have these families. They have these
a whole life. Yeah. And it is like, I feel like that has become the trope of very much. It's like, this is the best way to demonstrate this to an audience, and like for us to take it all in is like, you know, he's got this fake version of him and then like the real the secret evil version of him kind of thing. But I think it's more of just like his planning and plotting and all of that makes him effective at it. And I don't think that it's like his OCD that's doing it. I mean, again, maybe that's why the OCPD thing came up for me, because it is very much about like having as much control as possible. And but again, like this is like related to like perfectionism, which like, as we've talked about before, perfection isn't real. But like these very high standards. So it's like, is he able to like separate these things because he's really good at like having the most control over everything, perhaps. But still not enough information for me personally to like,
I feel that.
Figure that
so
out.
Then with that, would you Billy or Stu him?
I would absolutely say that he is a Billy, because he's like orchestrating. I mean, he's orchestrating all of this stuff. There's pieces of, maybe there's some Stu elements that come out because he is in this situation that he doesn't actually have control over. However, he's very resourceful and like is constantly readjusting based on,
he thinks on his feet, like that.
Really, like truly. And he's not cracking under the pressure in any of these moments. Even later in the movie, when like he is really losing control, when this pop artist is in his house and all of that stuff. But like he still is like, all right, like we're making moves constantly. And so I feel like there's way more Billying happening where like he's got contingency plan of contingency plan to contingency to like all of them A through Z, and like it keeps going. Yeah. So it's that I think really makes him more of a Billy in my personal and professional
Billy Butcher.
opinion.
Hashtag the boys.
Billy Butcher.
Yes, I just finished the finale today.
Oh, we
So
have to
good.
watch season.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. I can't wait for the last season.
So good, so good.
Fantastic. Well, let's move on because I don't want to keep Des here for. Thank you for being with us for all this. I know you just got to have a show too. And the other question I have, I can say for later because it's a good question, and we'll discuss it. I'm sure it'll come up in another movie we talk about. So should we Rotten Tomatin this?
Yeah, let's Rotten Tomatin this.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game.
What do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes? Let's start with our guest. Des,
Yes.
what do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes?
And see, I'm not really sure how the Rotten Tomato world works, but I'm going to go back to what Jamie said as far as this movie being like really divisive. Like either you like loved it or whatever. So I'm just going to give it 50.
All right.
I'll give it 50%, and yes, hope for the best.
Yeah.
Cool, Nikisha, you go next.
I'm gonna say 64.
All right, and Jamie.
I'm gonna say 45.
It has a 49%. Des was definitely thinking the right way.
Wow, did that?
But that's what most M. Night movies. I mean, that
It's
I
like
talk
50-50,
people that I talk.
yeah.
It's literally 50-50.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. There's no in
That's a
between.
great guess.
Typically
Right.
with his.
Yeah.
Wow.
It has a 64 by audience.
So I got that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me about. I mean, if we have time, like the Rotten Tomatoes rating, like where does it come from? Like,
So basically, what it does is it takes critics. It decides if a critic score is positive or negative, and it takes the average of those, and that's what the number ends up being.
but who's the critic?
The critics are like top critics, ones that are actual like registered
publication
critics.
type?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the critics' consensus is an arc thriller given some grounding by Josh Hartnett's committed performance. Shyamalan's Trap will ensnare those who appreciate its tongue-in-cheek style, while the rest will be eager to wriggle out from it.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I think it's
Josh was definitely committed.
Yeah.
He's committed.
He was committed. Yes, he
Committed
was.
to the bit. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm really excited for this one. What do you think this has on Letterboxd? As a reminder, Letterboxd is decimal points up to 5. So Jamie, let's start with you.
I'm gonna guess like a 2.8.
All right, Nikisha
I'm gonna guess a 2.4.
and Des.
I don't know what Letterboxd is, so I'm going to say a 3.0.
Well, Des is right on the money. It's a 3.0.
Wow!
Congrats! That's amazing. Yes.
You're winning.
All right.
I told you, America, I got you.
That's so funny.
The first thing I want to do is I want to read you a review from someone I follow, Slasher Reviews. They wrote, when director Elizabeth Bender was talking about making, quote, a B movie with A ideas, it turns out she was referring to Trap. Some of you girlies forgot to have fun at the movies, and it's showing. And God forbid a man has a hobby.
Oh.
Wow.
That's actually fantastic.
But a B movie with A ideas,
With A
I feel like
ideas,
it
yes.
That's great.
describes a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies in general.
Yes.
Right.
I see no lie.
Because that was a Maxine
Uh-huh.
quote, yeah?
I hadn't seen Maxine. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I think that was from Maxine.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
Is Elizabeth Bender the character in Maxine?
Yes, the director.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Okay, cool. Here's another one from a friend, not from a friend, but someone I follow, and I appreciated this. What I wanted was a fun cat and mouse thriller from the perspective of the cat. What I got was 3 layers of meditation on being a girl dad, addiction, and keeping a work-life balance. The silliness is a feature, not a bug, and the cinematography is masterful.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
Ooh.
yeah.
That's
All
a
right,
great
but
one.
here are the most popular reviews. Get ready.
And
Yes,
Desmond,
please.
these are all just like anyone who
These
has
are
a
just
Letterboxd
people.
account,
Yeah.
they can just review it. Yeah.
So think
Listen,
of
they
Letterboxd as a
hitting it now.
movie social media. You can keep track of all the movies you see and like rate
Okay.
them and share. It's very cool.
Oh, nice.
Not
okay.
sponsored.
Brian loves it.
Obsessed
Truly.
with it. All right.
Ah, okay.
This is from Sydney, who I feel like appears a lot on these. Anyway,
Love Sydney.
Sydney says, not our Sydney, not
Oh.
Horror Chronicles,
Oh,
just a random woman
Okay.
named Sydney. Psychopath Josh Hartnett trying his best to act like a happy, fun-loving guy, only to seem more like a serial killer, is the funniest bit of the year.
Yes.
That's what I
Absolutely.
said. That's what to see him all bright faced.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was very. I was like, okay, Josh.
The second one was by Reese, who is, if you've seen him, he's on TikTok. Before the movie, M. Night came out on stage and shared that he came up with this entire movie solely to give his singer-daughter her very own concert film. He then proceeded to spend 30 minutes individually thanking a multitude of crew members by name, the entire cast and supporting cast, even actors with legit 2 lines, and told all aspiring filmmakers in the crowd to follow their dreams. M. Night, the man you are. And yes, the movie is thrilling, but mostly so silly and fun. See it with friends and then get ice cream afterwards.
Nice.
Okay.
But this is the most liked review for this movie on Letterboxd, and it's amazing. It's most liked as of this recording. Karsten says, "You gotta wonder if M. Night Shyamalan has ever had a conversation with a human being."
And that's that.
Did I not say that like
That's what's-
verbatim?
Yep.
That's exactly what she said.
Is the moral.
Wow.
Talk to humans,
Love
please.
it.
M. Night.
All right,
Obsessed.
let's do the 4 S's.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
Skull, scare, shakes, and suggestions. The Talking Horrors 4 S's.
All right, the 4 S's are skulls, scares, shakes, and suggestions. Skulls is how we rate the mental health and human behavior aspect, 1 through 10. Scares is how scary was it. Shakes is this going to stay with you, or was it one and done? And then suggestions, what would you pair with this movie? Jamie, let's start with you.
Sure thing. So for skulls, I'm just giving this a 5 because again,
Me
I think
too.
it's really I think it's really hard to like figure out at this point. It's not, I don't think that it's like people not peopling. I just don't think that people talk in this way that's being represented in this movie.
Right.
I do think that like it was fascinating to watch a serial killer like squirm and try to figure out, you know, like I don't have control over this situation, what do I do? And like problem solve his way around that. So I feel like that kind of made up for it. But like, yeah, no human being that I have ever interacted with in my entire existence communicates this way. So there's that. For
So
scares,
there's that.
for scares, I gave this a 1. Like this movie really isn't scary, I think at all. I think the scariest thing is just that if I ever meet another person that talks like this, I'll be like terrified of them.
Like,
Abort
am I in a
immediately.
movie? Are
Get out
you
of
the
here.
exposition?
Yeah.
Don't need it.
The exposition. For shakes, I need a little bit more time on this because again we just saw it today. Right now I'm giving it a 3 because I don't think it was as good as The Visit. but I didn't hate it. So it's on the lower end of the spectrum for me. So yeah.
Cool. Desmond, do you want to go next?
Okay. Run it down for me one time.
Yeah. Skulls. How well
Skulls.
it handles mental health or human behavior. 1 through 10. What are you thinking?
3.
All right.
Yeah. Even at the end, the post-credit scene, I helped him. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Scares definitely 1. Like I said, this is a family film. So take your kids for a nice night at the movies.
Wholesome.
And they get ice cream after.
No, they get ice cream after. It's a nice wholesome movie. Will this stay with me? No, it will. But if someone brings it up, I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that. So maybe if I'm reminded that or whatnot. But like I said, in the canon of M. Night, this is definitely low on the list. And suggestions. The only thing that came to my mind, just because of like the concert aspect and the serial killer aspect, is Donald Glover's Swarm. Series.
That's a good suggestion.
That's the only other time I've seen like a kind of like a concert horror aspect in a horror kind of situation. Sure. So that would be my suggestion.
Has anyone listened to his new album yet?
I haven't.
That just came out.
No,
I haven't either. But I watched the music video for that new single
Like
that just came out, Livonia. No, Livonia.
Wait, isn't that Kendrick?
Yeah, that what you said is Kendrick. I was talking about Donald Glover. Right? You said Donald Glover.
Because Kendrick's like, Keisha said they're not like us. I was like, wait, I think isn't that Kendrick? Because
that was me. I was.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like, okay. I'm not a big hip hop head either, but I was like, wait, now I know that song. That's okay. But no, I'm not familiar with Donald's music.
No, I haven't. But isn't this his last album?
Yeah, didn't he say he's gonna like retire the name?
Yeah,
I think he's like retiring Childish Gambino. Like I feel like he's like I've lived through that identity, and like I'm hoping that he'll continue to make music. Because I really enjoy his music. Nice. But the music video for his new single Lithonia is definitely a horror vibe, so you should watch it.
He does horror good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would love for him to do more of that.
Yeah,
more horror.
Yeah, like Jordan Peele. Like that's he's very intelligent in that way. I love it.
I'll quickly go. Yep. I'm doing a 5 for skulls, a 1 for scares, and a 5.5 for shakes. Nikisha?
3 for skulls, 1 for scares, 3 for shakes for me.
And suggestion?
Just because Jamie had mentioned readjusting your expectation, that just made me think, and what I thought she was going to say was Malignant. So I'm going to put that out there.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Whenever you readjust your expectations, which you do eat like 10 minutes into the movie, you're like, oh, this is what this is? Okay, then I'm down for the ride.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
It was so crazy, but I loved every second.
So
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That's a favorite of mine.
That was wild. Yeah.
I love it. Jamie, did you have another one besides The Visit?
Oh, yeah. The other one I was going to suggest is, because I've really been appreciating Josh Hartnett as this like horror, like in this like horror villain era, the Black Mirror episode that he's in, Beyond the Sea.
Incredible. That was the best one.
It's not even my favorite. It's not even my favorite Black Mirror episode, but he was in. That's the most recent season, I believe.
Yeah, of that season, that was the top one. Yes.
Yeah, him and who's the other?
Oh, I see him.
It's Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I don't think I watched it.
What was the movie that we watched that was bad? Drag Race, Drive, Need for Speed.
Need for Speed. I was like, what are you saying about Drag Race being bad?
No. I would never.
Oh, that episode was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta watch it. I haven't watched it. Okay.
Yeah. And
Aaron Paul.
Who, yeah.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron
And
Paul.
isn't so? Who else is in it?
The girl.
Kate Mara.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. With the good hairline.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Fantastic. Brian, did you have a suggestion?
Yeah, so I said Vox Lux earlier.
Yeah.
If you want a real good concert portion of a movie. But I imagine this movie to take place in the same world as Glass and Split. It felt very like that. Like if they had waited to make Glass, like I feel like this character would have also been in that like that asylum.
Oh yeah.
So like I would say watch Split and Glass and imagine that this takes place in the same like world as that.
And because of the ending,
all of these movies
because of the ending, it might go there. He might do
exactly.
have them all in one place.
Tie it in.
Yeah, because he
Be like the
definitely broke
Avengers
free.
of serial killers or whatever.
Exactly. Yay.
Oh God.
Fantastic. Okay, well then that wraps up our episode of Trap, not Trapped, ED, just Trap.
Just
Thank
one
you
trap.
so much, Des, for
Oh, my pleasure. Thank
being
y'all.
with us and joining us and giving us your opinions about this. We appreciate it. We'll have you on for the next one. A reminder that this is our season finale, so we're gonna take a little breaky break. Jamie's gonna have a little baby.
Congrats.
And
Thank you.
we will be back for Halloween to give you all of the goods for that. Super excited for the rest of the horror movie season this year. Some exciting stuff to look forward to. You can follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Talk Horror Pod. And producer Brian, where can they listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube. Hi, YouTube.
Hey.
You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And thank you.
Thank you.
How should we end it?
Well, since Desmond said that this movie was a family film, I think we should quote the line from the film. You got good family values. It's a good family over here.
Oh my gosh.
It's a B movie with A ideas.
ideas.
And that's that.
That is that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Des.
All right. Thank you.